Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Communities Live here at Sheffield Live 93.2 FM. And we have film producer Abbie Hills. Good afternoon.
Hello, hi. It's great to join you.
Well, thank you for joining me today. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. It's been a day of talking to lots of people, which I'm fine with because I love to chat and I can chat all day long. So, all good.
So, give us a bit of background. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, where to start with that one? Well, let's see. I'm a film producer, which is something that I've recently made a return to after a few years kind of breaking away. Before that and alongside now, I'm actually a talent agent. So I started a talent agency when I was 23, while I was doing my master's actually, which was just, I had an idea and I ran with it. And 7 years later, we're still doing it. So I represent actors for screen and stage, and now I've got a few kind of entertainment clients as well, which I'm really excited about. And I feel like whenever anybody asks me, tell me about yourself, I go straight into my work because it's kind of been, since I was 15 years old, I've just been kind of hustling so much, and that was 15 years ago now, so half my life. So it's very intertwined into what I do, and it's a good job. I love it. I think otherwise I'd be exhausted.
And who are your main influences? And also, if it was anybody that you could work with in the near future, who would it be and why?
For me, it's got to be Shane Meadows.
Shane Meadows. Well,
Yeah, definitely. I kind of grew up watching his work, and as you would have seen in my short that I produced, the gritty, real drama is what sticks for me. It's the kind of the social realist stuff, the stuff that we've lived through, or we know somebody that's lived through it. That's the work that I love, and I think Shane does that so brilliantly.
yeah, and I mean, he's a brilliant filmmaker, and hopefully, never know, he might be listening to this interview. So, fingers crossed about the potential collaboration in the near
Give
future.
me a ring, Shane. I'm ready.
So, I mean, for anybody that wants to like break into films, I wouldn't say necessarily the film industry or like producing. What advice would you give to our listeners, and also how difficult is it?
Wow. It's hard. Like I said, I was 15 when I first started, probably even younger actually, but 15 when I first started, I guess like networking, and that, 15 years later now I'm making shorts and things that I'm immensely proud of, but it's been a long time. Um, with me being so young, obviously safeguarding is a huge thing that I think now we're more online than ever is something to be really mindful of. A lot of things online seem too good to be true. So kind of I think knowing the business of the industry is really important because if you see something that sounds like a scam, you'll be able to pick it out easily. You'll know what things mean. If you're in a room with producers and directors and you're, I don't know, an up and coming actor or a film student, and you want to kind of know what they're talking about, right? And I think
Sure.
I think doing that research can go a long way because I think I didn't really realize, I think until after I graduated, the business side of film. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to run around and write stuff and, make films with my mates and we'll have a good time. And that's the beauty of the art, right? But actually, there's a whole business side as well that I think you've got to be pretty savvy on these days.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many different genres of film that you can make. I mean, so how difficult is it to pick that certain genre that you're looking for? I mean, so say like this, if you wanted to say you wanted to make an action film, but instead turned out horror or something like that. How can you decide?
I think it comes down to taste. I think, and depending on your role as well. So, kind of thinking about myself as a writer, like I know what my taste is. I love, like I said, gritty social realist stuff, but I also love modern history. So, I love, really nerding out on certain decades. So, I've got a project set in the 60s. So, I go all in on researching that, and same with the 70s and a 90s project that I've written. So, I've definitely got my taste. When it comes to getting things made, though, I think especially if you're just starting out, you have to be realistic about what you can do well on a
Yeah.
very small budget. So naturally, that's why a lot of people do drama or horror because you can make a really fun horror on not very much money. But things like action and things that are higher concept naturally cost more and take more time. So I think if you're starting out, drama is quite a good way to do that because you can, or much like in Immaterial, you can set it in pretty much one location, a couple of actors. You haven't got car chases and stunts and like,
Yeah.
VFX and everything like that.
And I mean, there's one controversial question that I'm going to ask, but if you don't want to answer it, it's completely fine. How do you feel about AI in the creative industry? Do you feel like it's helpful, or do you think it's still a hindrance at the moment?
So this goes back to my point about kind of knowing the business of film, right? And I'm probably going to sound like a bit of a hypocrite here, but I think I need to do some learning around AI because what I know about it really freaks me out. I don't understand it. So I think in order to understand it, I need to learn more about it. I absolutely do not think that AI should ever replace actors or like, any the craft of any job. I think use it as a tool for your pre-production to support you in like, I don't know, doing your shoot plans and writing your documents if you need to, but it should never replace the art. And I think that goes for any role and actually across any industry because we are humans, we're creative people, right? And I don't think AI can take that away from us.
And it's absolutely frightening because I mean I saw a trailer for a certain film. I can't remember what the film was called, but a legendary actor called Val Kilmer
Mm.
he was made fully by AI, and he used his likeness and his voice, and he was in the full film. And to me, I mean, all right, he's got permission from the family, but to me, it feels a bit distasteful, really, that they're bringing back legendary actors who are unfortunately not here with us into AI form. And it could ruin his legacy, really, I think.
Feels dystopian as well, doesn't it? Feels a
It
bit
does,
strange.
yeah. It's so
Where's the
frightening.
line?
I mean, it's so frightening. I mean, I've said this about 40 years ago. I mean, it feels like the Terminator is coming to life. You know, it's unbelievable how far we have come through in technology. I mean, to say that in 1990s and that, I mean, when I was a kid, that internet didn't even exist at the time, and
Hmm.
now we've gone to a point where we've got social media platforms, digital platforms, AI. I mean, it's unbelievable how far we've come.
It's quick, isn't it? It's
It
very
is.
quick.
So, I mean, you've got a new short film called Immaterial. So, and I've got to say, it's a great watch. It's 15 minutes long. So, tell us a bit more. I mean, I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to spoil it for the audience. But give us a bit of plot. Tell us a bit more about it, but don't give too much away.
Okay, okay. So without giving too much away, it's a portrayal of a young woman who is very much in active addiction. And she is incredibly lonely and vulnerable. And she doesn't know how to cope with it. Her mum is really, really unwell. She can't go and see her. And she's grappling with, mental health trauma, with addiction, with relationships, a current relationship and a past one. And it's kind of looking at a young woman who is actually incredibly lonely, and doesn't know who to turn to actually, and is very much stuck in her own head.
So it's kind of like, in a way, like a psychological drama, in a way, because I mean, he's suffering from PTSD as well. I mean, like I say, I don't want to go too much into it because I don't want to spoil the film. But I mean, it's a great watch, but it's also very, very dark in places as well.
It is, yeah. It's not, it's definitely not a glossy, happy-go-lucky story. We wanted to tell, and Alex in particular, when she was writing this, wanted to give a real life experience. And I think with the real life experience, you don't get those happy moments all the time. And actually, if you have ever experienced any kind of mental health struggles before, the darkness and the weight that comes with that is indescribable. And I think Alex, that's why she wanted to make this film, is to describe it and to show it and to show the vulnerability and then hopefully pull some empathy from the audience because yeah, you may not be getting the happy ending or the happy points, but you can certainly empathize with what I think is a very human story.
Yeah. And I mean, what spoke to you when you wrote the script? I mean, what part of the script that actually spoke to you when you were making this film?
So Alex wrote the script. She wrote and directed it. and she brought it to me just to have a read through as a friend, and we just clicked instantly on it, and we both just got it in such a way that we were almost kind of finishing each other's thoughts, I think. And we were just like, yeah, like that, with the references we were talking about. And I found there was so much power in it. Like I said before, like it's a drama, and it's in one location, pretty much surrounding this council estate. Two characters, a couple of voiceovers, and it's intimate. And you are literally looking into somebody's life. And I found that so fascinating. And I just read it and I could see it so clearly. And I thought, yeah, we need to make this together. We have to.
And I mean, when the audience sees the film, I mean, what do you hope people are going to take from this film?
I remember when I saw I, Daniel Blake a few years ago, and I think I went to go and see it in the cinema. And I was holding out, for all of these glimmers and positive moments. And I came out of it feeling quite uncomfortable, to be honest. But it stayed with me. It really, really stayed with me. It's much like Immaterial. It's a story about things that happen to us and things that happen to British working class people. And it was so raw, and it really, really sat. And I think for me, I want the same thing for Immaterial, because mental health is so important, especially in younger people. Naomi's in her early 20s, the character, and she's at this point where she should be building the rest of her life. But actually, is she destroying it? Is she stuck? Like, what is going to happen to her? And I think that human element of empathy and understanding people's struggles, and how dark things really can get, actually, is it is scary, but it's real. And I want people to go away and think about that.
Definitely, and I absolutely agree with you, Abby, on this. I mean, you see a lot of films, I mean, uh, mostly that are not real, not realistic, but when you're going to see like a real, close to life film, it's actually quite harrowing. It's actually quite a real, it really opens your eyes to what this person's going through. And it
Hmm.
actually makes you more empathetic of what this person is going through. And I mean, you don't get really much of that now, unfortunately, which is a shame, really, because there's so many great films like that you can watch. If you're watching this person, they're going through like their everyday lives, and it's like it makes you feel like, yeah, it makes you feel empathy, really.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people watch films and TV for escapism,
Yeah,
right? For something positive, or for something like a soap where, like, it's so bad and so unrealistic. You're like, oh, I'm glad these things aren't happening to me. Very rarely do people kind of study, shorts and things to understand it in this way, in this kind of dark portrayal of Naomi's life. So I'm really intrigued to see what people are going to think of it. It was such a labor of love. We made it in 2 days. Holly, who plays Naomi, is absolutely amazing. Sam, who plays Jack, is brilliant too. And it's not light subject matter, and they absolutely smashed it in the very short amount of time that we had.
and I mean, you say you filmed it in 2 days, but how long did the actual project take to put together? Was it a long process, or did it come together quite quickly?
Um, so I think, if I remember rightly, Alex and I were discussing it around October time. Would have been year before last. And obviously, like, November hits and nobody wants to do any work because it's basically
Yeah.
Christmas, right? So we had like we were doing stuff, we were preparing, but it kind of, we didn't really go fully into the pre-production. And then we shot it in the April. So we shot it last April, and it was finished by August, late August. And then we've kind of been doing our festival run and just kind of spreading the word about it. And then we're taking it to Cannes next week as part of the short film corner. And then we're doing an industry screening out there, which is going to be really, really cool.
And I mean, was it always the plan that you wanted to do a short film, or was it like a plan that you wanted to do a feature length film at the time, but you wanted to make it shorter, or or was that always the plan to make it a short?
This one was in the state that I've kind of known it. It's always been a short. I imagine that Alex would love to make this into a feature, and I think we very the story wise we absolutely could do that. For me, I was ready to make a short film again because I'd had a bit of a break from producing, and I thought this feels like something manageable and that I can do a really good job that I'm proud of. Um, I think to go in and make a feature straight away would have been, because this was Alex's first film as a writer director. So I think it felt right to do a short. And she's now currently in prep for her next one called Pristine. So it's a really nice way of building on that. And then, the time will come, I'm sure, when she makes a feature. And we've said that we plan to work together again on future projects. So yeah, we're really excited.
And how can people get to see the film? So you mentioned film festivals, but eventually, will they be like on digital platforms or direct to DVD?
Yeah. So we're kind of just figuring that out at the moment. I've been submitting it to festivals along with Alex, and it's still, it's got a few that we're waiting to hear back from. Obviously, we're taking it to Cannes market next week, and the ideal situation is that we find some short film distribution, and then it will go onto a platform, where people can watch it, and that's the kind of journey of how it goes for short films. Although it is quite challenging to get them distributed, it's quite different to that of a feature film. But that's the game plan, and then yeah, then it'll be online, and then everybody can see it.
So watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. So you got into Hollywood shorts recently. So can you tell us a bit more about that project too, if you can?
A Holly short. So this was really rogue for me because as I said kind of earlier, that my taste is very much within the like gritty British stories, right? And social realist stuff. So naturally, I wrote a comedy. Thought I'd have a go at that and see how that goes. Um, and it's a script that I think I hadn't written anything for a while, and I just wanted to play around and basically have fun with what with my craft as a writer. So I was developing this script and I was showing it around to people, and people were laughing at it. And I was like, well, that's a good sign because I've written a comedy and people are laughing. So good. Let's start submitting that to festivals as a script. It's not an actual visual
Sure.
project yet. It's still at the kind of script stage. Um, but I saw Holly Shorts, which is obviously an amazing festival, and they've got a comedy offshoot. So Holly Shorts Comedy, which was last weekend in LA, they selected it as part of their program, which was really, really cool. And I wasn't expecting it because us Brits have a very specific sense of humor, don't we? And we're very sarcastic and very dry, and I didn't know how they'd take that over in America, but apparently they liked it. So I'm chuffed.
I want to ask you as well, Abby. I mean, as a script writer, I mean, was there when you like make a film, was there any certain scenes that you would have loved to include in that film, but unfortunately you didn't have time, that you might want to save for the next film, or did it come together
In
all together? I mean, like just for any film in general, really.
Oh, there's always stuff. I mean, obviously for Immaterial, I didn't write it, and I very much, wanted to tell Alex's story, who was telling Naomi's story. So, we chatted about things back and forth, and I made suggestions, but that was very much Alex's story to tell. With my own work, there's always stuff you want to add in. There's always stuff, and it is hard to decide what stays and what goes. And I think when I get to the stage where because when I get back from Cannes, we're filming my next short, which I have written and which I'm really excited about. And I'm happy with the script as it is, but no doubt there'll be stuff that I wish I added. There always is. When you see things come to life, you're like, oh, I could have done that, I could have done this. We always think about what we could have done, right? After it happens.
Sure. And can you tell us a little bit more about your next project, if you can, or is it all secretive at the moment?
It's quite secret at the moment, but yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's so I live with cerebral palsy, and the narrative surrounds a character with cerebral palsy, so I'm really excited about that. It's gonna be really cool.
So watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. And again, so how can people follow you? Do you have like social media platforms that you can follow on, like X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Facebook?
I'm a little bit everywhere, to be honest, Chris. I'm on Instagram as it's Abbie Hills. I very irregularly post on my Substack. I'm trying to write more on there, but I sort of just do an article and then forget it exists. That's my neurodivergence coming out. Then I've got a website where you can see more about my projects, which is just abbyhills.uk. And my talent agency is Daisy Talent, spelt Dazey. But I love to chat, so you'll see videos of me on the internet just talking to other people and sometimes talking to myself.
Abby, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time. My final question for you is, what would you like to say to our listeners who is currently listening right now?
Oh, wow. What I find really interesting is about radio shows is that like you get such a wide range of people listening. So I think like if there's ever any part of you that wants to go out and make something or do something creative, like absolutely do it. You'll have so much fun. I think that's the thing that I'd like to leave with you.
Abby, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.